Hi guys, it's me ChazzaHD and welcome today for the qualifying watch-along for the 2018 Singapore Grand Prix. Now guys, before we get into this qualifying watch-along, yeah, I'm on late, I know. Basically what happened is I had a massive technical issue. My computer, as I was setting up this stream, completely froze about 4 or 5 times when I was trying to, restart it and get it going again. Kept freezing, and that is why I am starting 25 minutes before qualifying instead of an hour before. So sorry about that. Hopefully for tomorrow this issue won't arise again. I will make sure of it. So don't worry, tomorrow I will be definitely going live an hour before the race starts. But today, unfortunately, just couldn't do anything about it. My computer, for a brief period of time, just did not want to play ball. So sorry about that, guys. But here we are, and let's just get this underway. But guys, practice 3 did take place about 2.5 hours ago, or an hour and a half ago. So we'll go through the results now in case you have missed them. Here is the top 10. Sebastian Vettel is fastest in practice 3. Then Kimi Raikkonen is second, Hamilton third, Bottas fourth, Ricciardo was 5th, Verstappen 6th, Grosjean very impressively in P7. Then the two Force Indias of Ocon and Perez 8th and 9th. That is very, very interesting to see. And Fernando Alonso still doing very well up in 10th place. And then the bottom 10 is Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Sainz, Gasly, Van Dorn, Charles Leclerc, Brendan Hartley, Sergei Sorokin, Marcus Ericsson and Lance Stroll. Now guys, going into qualifying, let's go through all the teams very quickly, a lot quicker than we should have. Let's go through all the teams and kind of give a mini preview to how they are going to do in qualifying today. First off, Mercedes. Now, Mercedes are looking faster than I thought they would be. I think they are ahead of Red Bull in qualifying trim. I think they have enough pace to beat the two Red Bulls, as was proven there in practice 3. So they should be on the second row, but I don't see how they will beat Ferrari unless Ferrari have some kind of reliability issue or Vettel or Raikkonen hits the wall and, breaks their car. I don't see how one of the Mercedes can get onto the front row or even pole position. I just don't see it. Their car is better than expected this weekend. Definitely is, but it's not good enough to get onto pole in my opinion. But a second row start and maybe take the fight to Ferrari in the race, that wouldn't be bad for Mercedes, because I don't think a few months ago they would have thought that they would be this close to Ferrari compared to what they were like a few months ago at this kind of track. So not looking bad for Mercedes, but not looking amazing either. Then you go on to Ferrari. They have the fastest car, there is no doubt about that. Sebastian Vettel, when he's not making a mistake at this track, he is the fastest person here, and he has the fastest car, and he has to be favourite for pole position going into qualifying, no doubt about that. Kimi Raikkonen is also looking very fast, and overall Ferrari, if they don't get a front row start, it will be quite disappointing, even if they get pole position, because the car works a lot better than the Mercedes, for example, around this track. So they really should get a front row. And I don't think there's any excuse for Ferrari not to get a front row start here in Singapore. And we'll go on to Red Bull. And Red Bull, it's safe to say, in qualifying trim, they do not have the pace, in my opinion, to get onto the second row. I just don't see it. They were quite comfortably behind Mercedes in practice 3. And I know it's practice 3 and the conditions in practice 3 aren't fully representative. But they just don't have the pace in qualifying. They're a lot quicker when it comes to the race, as we saw in Monza, for example, with Verstappen. But when it comes to qualifying, Red Bull, even if they're at a track where, that track suits them, they're just not good enough when it comes to qualifying. So for Red Bull, I think it's definitely going to be a third row lockout. I don't see anything better or worse for the two Red Bull cars. But guys, What do you think of those three teams going into qualifying? Do you think Mercedes can cause a surprise and maybe get ahead of one of the Ferraris? Do you think Ferrari are favourites to get a pole position and a front row start? And with Red Bull, do you think they can do any better than 5th and 6th in today's qualifying? Let's just check the chat now. See what some of you guys are saying going into qualifying. Don't forget that the conditions are cooling down. That's some legendary snipers. Yep, that's true. That's true. Just looking for some more questions and statements. Yeah, I think Bottas will be P5 and P6. Interesting. I don't think he'll be that low down. Bottas actually hasn't been that bad this weekend. He wasn't that far off of Lewis in practice 3. He was only, I think, half a tenth behind Lewis Hamilton. So Bottas is looking good. Valtteri Bottas is looking quite good. So I think, yeah, I think Mercedes will get a 3rd and 4th. I don't see anything better than that in today's qualifying. Ferrari 1 and 2, Red Bull 3 and 5, Mercedes 4 and 6. That's from Stella. If we get some surprises, maybe, but I don't think we will get any massive surprises in today's qualifying. I just don't see it. Gina says, Raikkonen on pole, Hamilton 2nd, Vettel 3rd, Vettel to make a mistake. Given what Vettel has been like recently, it wouldn't be a massive surprise, would it? If Sebastian made a mistake, he made quite a big one in practice 2 yesterday, which cost him quite a lot of track time, which I do think will affect him a bit for tomorrow's Grand Prix. But yeah, it's not out of the question Vettel making a mistake. We've seen it plenty of times during the last few races, let's be honest. But let's go on to the next 3 teams. McLaren actually aren't that bad. Fernando Alonso looks like he's probably going to be in the top 10. He's been at least in and around the top 10 since the start of the weekend. And right now, unless a car below him, maybe one of the Renaults or both of the Renaults, get their act together, I think Alonso might be able to make it into Q3. But I'm still not quite sure because, as I'll get onto in a minute, I think Renault will be a lot faster in qualifying than they were just an hour and a half ago in practice 3. So he's going to be at least, I'd say, P12, something like that. I think at the absolute least, and at best, maybe P9, which wouldn't be bad for Alonso. And for McLaren, that would be a very, very good qualifying result. They've been so poor when it's come to qualifying in 2018. Next up is Renault. Renault in practice 3 were not really that quick. They were 11th and 13th. They didn't really look like they had great pace or grip either. Nico Hülkenberg almost had a massive spin at the final corner, I think. So the Renault wasn't looking good in practice 3, but of course the conditions are a lot different for qualifying than practice 3. Maybe that will suit the Renault, who knows. But if Renault do get their act together, I think they will get, at the very least, one of their cars solidly into the top 10, at the very least. So, for, again, as I just said, for Fernando Alonso, that might push him out of the top 10. I don't know, though, about Renault, because yesterday they looked very good. No doubt about that. But, I don't know, after watching them in practice 3 just then, they didn't look too good. I'm not sure, again, if maybe they're sandbagging or they were running more fuel. That's maybe why the car wasn't looking as good as the Haas or the Force India. Maybe that was it. I don't know, but not looking amazing right now for Renault. But they should really get into the top 10, at least again with one of their cars. And Force India look much improved from yesterday, 8th and 9th in the practice 3 session. And if they can get that in qualifying, what a result that would be, as they continue to make progress on Renault, Haas and McLaren in the constructors. So an 8th and 9th starting for the race would be great for Force India. I don't think they will get that. I think with both cars, maybe the best they can get is a 9th and 10th. I don't think an 8th and 9th will be massively possible, because I think maybe Alonso or one of the Renaults will get in there and interrupt that. But who knows? Who knows? Force India could be very fast. But guys, what do you think of those three teams? Do you think Fernando Alonso will make it into Q3? Do you think Renault will get both cars, or at least one of their cars, into Q3? And for Force India, do you think they will finish very well in qualifying like they did in practice 3 with an 8th and 9th? Let me know what you think. I'll just check the chat now to see what some of you guys are saying. Just looking now. Is Haas still looking faster than Force India? That's from JB. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Haas are faster, because Kevin Magnussen was only 12th in practice 3. I'm not sure. It is very close between Haas and Force India, no doubt. Very, very close. So we should be getting a titanic battle between those two teams. Maybe for who's going to make it into Q3, or who's going to be starting 7th, 8th and 9th. Who knows? But it's very, very close. Gina says Haas is going to beat Renault tonight. I'm not... Again, it's very close between them two. I'm not entirely sure Haas will beat Renault, or that Renault will beat Haas. I'm not entirely sure of that right now. We'll have to see. It's too close to call right now, in my opinion. Scuderia D, maybe Force India, yes. Renault, maybe one of them. I think after practice 3, I think Renault probably will get one car into Q3. It's so close to call. I don't know who's going to make it into Q3. We could have a surprise. It could have, who knows, maybe Toro Rosso will show up. We just don't know. We honestly just do not know. JB, will this be a good race or a snooze fest? Tomorrow's race will more likely be a snooze fest, but if we get safety cars and crashes, it can throw the race completely into the air, and anything can happen from then on in. But I'll move on now to the next, or the last 4 teams. Williams, they're going to be last. I think the best they can hope for is maybe 17th or 18th if they really pull out a great lap with one of their drivers, but they're going to be last, let's be honest. Toro Rosso look better than they were yesterday, but still not massively better. I think there is still quite a lot of improvement that needs to come from Toro Rosso, considering Singapore normally is a very good track for Toro Rosso. So they really should be improving on 14th and 17th, I think it was, in practice 3. They should be better than that. This is a good track for them, so I don't quite understand still why Toro Rosso just don't have the pace. We'll go on next to Haas, who should, like Renault, get one of their cars into Q3. Romain Grosjean has looked very fast this weekend. No real surprise, because Grosjean, when it comes to qualifying pace or one lap pace, has looked very quick since his home race at Paul Ricard. So Grosjean should be the person getting in the top 10 for Haas. Can Magnussen get in the top 10? I'm not quite sure. K-Mag doesn't look like he's having the greatest weekend. This isn't one of his best tracks. He's not horrible around here, but again, it's not one of his absolute best tracks on the calendar. So I think Haas's hopes for a top 10 rest with Romain Grosjean, for sure. Grosjean does look quite a lot better than Kevin Magnussen around Singapore. And finally is Sauber, who in practice 3 dropped back quite a lot to, I think it was 16th and 19th. Not looking good there for Sauber, and no real surprise. This kind of track does not suit the Sauber car. It doesn't. High aerodynamic tracks do not suit Sauber, so I don't see how Sauber can have a a great qualifying. I don't think they'll get both cars into Q2. I think if they're lucky, they'll get Leclerc maybe up to 14th, 13th, something like that if they're lucky. But Sauber just don't have the pace this weekend. But guys, with those 4 teams, do you think Williams can get off the back row or near the back row of the grid? Do you think Toro Rosso can cause a surprise? Or do you think the pace of the car they've shown this weekend is just how fast or how slow that they are? With Haas, do you think they are best of the rest going into qualifying? And do you think they can get both cars into Q3? And for Sauber, do you think they can get both cars into Q2? And do you think they can do anything surprising, I guess, in qualifying? Let me see what some of you guys are going to say about these teams. Rip Sauber, that's from Joseph Fernandez. Yep, Sauber not looking good. Yep, someone just said it's 8 minutes till qualifying. That's from Brandon. It's now 7 minutes, so qualifying starting in 7 minutes. Again, sorry that I'm on late. As I've explained, technical issues massively hampering my live stream. Williams will be last. That's from Scuderia D. Sauber could be Q2. That's also from Scuderia D. JB says Leclerc Q2 and Ericsson Q1. Brandon, Sauber will struggle, no doubt. Yeah, it's just not a Sauber-like track. Monza and Spa are Sauber-like tracks, but that's still what is confusing to me, is how they were so slow there, and now they're slow here. It seems as though to me that Sauber have kind of fell back in the development race, which I didn't see coming. I thought they would be one of the best teams in that development race, but it seems as though they're falling back. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Stroll to get into Q3 from Gina. We're going to need some wet conditions, I think, for that. I don't see how Stroll can even get out of Q1, never mind into Q3. Let me see if there's any more questions or statements. No, I don't think there are. Right, I'll move on, guys, quickly to my one to watch and my predictions for qualifying, as we are about 5 minutes away. My one to watch in qualifying today is Carlos Sainz. Now, I know in practice 3 he was only 13th, but yesterday, in more representative conditions in practice 2, he was up in 6th place and was very quick, doing a 140.2. Wasn't that far off the 2 Red Bulls, and if he can, and Renault can find that sort of speed again, then he should be right up there. He is a very good driver, very good at this kind of track, and for me, he is the one to watch. Carlos Sainz is looking good so far this weekend, despite in practice 3 not being absolutely amazing. Hopefully, Carlos Sainz does well, because I feel as though the last few races he just hasn't quite had a weekend, a great weekend. He just hasn't had like a consistently great weekend like Hulkenberg has had on a few occasions. So I think Sainz does need that this weekend. Now, guys, I'm going to get on to my predictions for qualifying for the 2018 Singapore Grand Prix, as there is 5 minutes left until qualifying. This is who I'm going for pole position. Sebastian Vettel, I think, will be on pole position, because if he doesn't make a mistake and the Ferrari car does not fail him, he is the fastest person around this track in my opinion, and has the fastest car. If he doesn't make a mistake, again, I don't see how anyone can out-qualify him. He is so good at Singapore. He's had pole position, I think, is it 5 times or 4 times? And he's won the race plenty of times as well. He is a master of Singapore. He truly, truly is. Even in a bad car, Sebastian has done well at this track in the past. And I don't see how anyone can beat Sebastian to pole today. Hopefully, he doesn't bottle it. In second, I'm going Kimi Räikkönen. Kimi is looking quite good this weekend. I didn't think he'd be that great, because Singapore is not exactly Kimi's best track or one of his best tracks. So I didn't think he'd be that great, but the Ferrari is so fast this weekend that Raikkonen is right up there in first, second and third. And I think he'll qualify in second, making it a Ferrari front row. And in third, Lewis Hamilton. I think Lewis Hamilton might be able to get, say, a tenth or two off Kimi Raikkonen in second. But realistically, I don't see how Hamilton or Bottas, Mercedes as a team can get onto the front row again, as I said earlier, unless Ferrari, one of their drivers makes a mistake, or Ferrari have some kind of reliability issue. So there you go. I'm going Vettel on pole, Raikkonen second, and Lewis Hamilton in third. So guys, we are now, let me just check, 3 minutes away from qualifying. So guys, in the chat right now, put in your predictions and I will read them out for, say, the next 5 minutes and probably 5 minutes into Q1 as well, considering I came on quite late. So everyone who's watching now, put in the description, or not in the description, put in the chat right now, who do you think is going to be on pole? Who do you think will be in second place? And who do you think will be in third? Put in the chat right now. Hopefully Kimi takes pole. That's from Addiction. Would be nice to see again him getting pole position. Scuderia D, Vettel, Hamilton, Ricciardo. Yeah, that's an interesting top three, but I don't see that happening realistically. I think we'll need quite a crazy qualifying session. Niblo says Vettel, Raikkonen, Ricciardo. I know why he's gone for Ricciardo in third, but we'll not go into that. Go Max, that's from Luke. W says Vettel on pole. Yeah, a lot of people going Vettel on pole, and that's understandable because they are doing, he is doing very well once he, gets it all hooked up together. When he doesn't make a mistake, he is looking very, very good. Just looking now, Kimi second, Ricciardo third, Hamilton fourth, Verstappen fifth, and Bottas in sixth. Interesting. Good morning to Tonka Toy Truck, who's just joined the chat. Is Ricciardo taking grid penalties? Nope, he is not. Not to my knowledge, anyway. He hasn't had any reliability issues, I don't think, this weekend. I think Verstappen has had a couple of reliability issues, but that has been fixed to the best of my knowledge. Vettel is his own enemy. He said that earlier in the week, and it's true. He is. He is his own enemy. As the green light has now gone, qualifying is underway. Brandon says Vettel on pole, Ricciardo second, and Raikkonen third. Just looking for some more predictions. Keep putting in the chat, guys, for predictions for qualifying. What is your top three? Hello to Lucas, who's just joined the chat. Just looking. Say Rugara, Ricciardo will get pole maybe. He is very good at street tracks, but the Red Bull just isn't quick enough. If it was, say what it was like in Monaco, then I'd probably say yeah, but the Red Bull's just nowhere near the pace. Nowhere near the pace. Just looking for some more. Red Bull have the second fastest car. That's from Seru Gara. In qualifying trim, I disagree. I think Mercedes have the second fastest car. But in race trim, I think Red Bull potentially have the fastest car out of the top three. Can we talk on Discord, please? That's from Stella. Not right now, obviously, because I'm on a stream. But maybe after, we'll see. John, Vettel needs the haircut he had at the beginning of the year. It brought him luck. The I think, was it that aerodynamic looking haircut that he had? I can't remember exactly what it looked like. Lucas says, I think he's predicting who's going to go out in Q1. Sorokin, Stroll, Van Dorn, Hartley and Ericsson. Yeah, that sounds very likely. I think the only surprise going out of Q1 maybe is Leclerc. Maybe. We'll have to see. Just looking. JB, yeah, I completely agree. Yep, I'd agree. As Kimi Raikkonen is on his outlap at the moment. Where does Kimi Raikkonen rank in the all-time greats? That's from Sei Rugara. Now, this might be a surprise to some people, but I actually rank Kimi very highly. Not in the top 10 of all time, but I would put Kimi, say, in the next 10 after the top 10, say 11th to 20th. I'd put him in there. I really would. Because people forget how good he was before he left F1 in 2009. And people forget that he was cost 2 world titles because of reliability issues. 2003, he would have won that title if it not been for a reliability issue at the Nürburgring when he was in the lead. And he deserved that title. I thought he was better than Michael Schumacher that year. And 2005, even though Fernando Alonso was very good, Kimi Raikkonen I thought was better, and McLaren did have the faster car. So Kimi, in my opinion, should have 2 more world titles. And if he had 2 more world titles, I guarantee you a lot of people would put him inside the top 10, but they don't. But I would definitely put him 11th to 20th. I think Kimi is quite underrated for his career. And you have to remember as well, the consistency that he has shown since 2001 to right now. He hasn't massively dropped off like he really should do at the age that he is at now. But moving on to qualifying, Kevin Magnussen is currently on a lap on the Hypersoft tyre as he's coming up to the mid-sector now. I'll start posting pictures from qualifying very shortly, guys. If you have any remaining predictions, keep putting it in the chat and I'll read it out. Nathan, don't like Vettel or Hamilton, but would prefer Mercedes to win. Okay. JB, I think Hamilton deserved 2007 title and Massa deserved 2008. Kevin Magnussen going wide at the final corner. Sorry, I didn't finish that answer. But Kevin Magnussen went very wide at the final corner there. 2007, Hamilton, I would say, yeah, he probably did, but Kimi did have, I think, 2 or 3 retirements that season because of reliability issues. So I'll have to look back and see how many points were cost for Kimi as well, because he did have a couple reliability issues in 07. As Kimi Raikkonen is now coming through the final corner and goes obviously fastest and does a 1:38.5. You can go a lot faster than that. That's probably 2 or 3 tenths slower than he could probably go in Q1, considering the current track conditions, as Grosjean goes straight on at turn 1 for some reason. I don't know why he did that. Kimi for president. Dennis O'Boyle, is there a chance that you'll be on the F1 Words podcast Sunday evening? No, I don't believe so, because I haven't have not had any word from him about that, so probably not. But now, guys, I will try and get some pictures on the screen for you guys about the qualifying session. As Vettel comes across the line and goes half a second slower than Raikkonen, and only 4th. The 2 Force Indias are 2nd and 3rd, so those upgrades are really working well. Really working well for Force India. 2nd and 3rd right now. If there's any more predictions that you guys want to put in, again, keep putting them in the chat below and I will get reading them out. Lucas, Vettel, Raikkonen, Ricciardo. So both Haas's have made mistakes. Yeah, they have. Haas can go a lot faster than that. They're 1.2 and 1.4 seconds off Kimi Raikkonen respectively, but they could probably both get, say, to a second behind. They both have at least a quarter of a second left in their pocket. As Lewis Hamilton on the ultra soft tyre, not the hyper soft, is coming around to start a lap. Nathan says Vettel, Kimi, Ricciardo for the top three. A lot of people going Ricciardo in third, but I disagree. I think the Mercedes is too fast. But who knows, maybe I'll be surprised as Lewis Hamilton comes bumping down into turn one. Turn one seems a lot more bumpy this year than it has been in previous years. I don't know if that's, maybe they've done something to that part of the track. I don't know. Force India are back to 2017 results. Impressive. That's from Tonka Toy Truck. Yep, they are. Since the investment has come in, they've gone right back to where they were last year. If only they didn't have to reset their constructors' position, they'd finish fourth again. And I think Force India would be going places for 2019. JB, Ricardo, either P4 or P5. Okay, I think P5 I'd go for Ricardo, as Lewis Hamilton is now coming up almost to the mid-sector point. The Mercedes, it looks better than I thought it would around this track, but it still doesn't look totally comfortable. As Hamilton is 0.6 of a second off Kimi Räikkönen in the mid-sector, but Hamilton is on the ultra-soft. Kimi, I believe, was on the hyper-soft, but I might be wrong. Force India are finishing 6th this year. That's from Dennis O'Boyle. Yep, they are. They're going to catch McLaren. McLaren might make improvements, but they're not going to hold off Force India. Force India are only 20 points behind McLaren. As Hamilton comes through the final corner, goes wide at the final corner, and ends up going 5th. 1.1 seconds off Kimi Räikkönen. Ricciardo's just done the fastest middle sector. Here comes Daniel Ricciardo. Coming up to the final corner. Where will he go? I don't think he'll go fastest. No, he does go fastest. He goes 0.3. Is that 3? Yeah, 0.3 of a second faster. Again, though, I do want to see what tyres Kimi Räikkönen and Sebastian Vettel were on. If anyone knows, please put in the chat, because if Räikkönen and Vettel were on hypersofts, then that is very interesting. Right, so Vettel's on hypersofts right now, and he's only slightly faster than Ricciardo in the middle sector. Here we go. Sebastian Vettel is now coming up to the underground part of the Singapore track in the final sector. Goes through. Looking all good from Sebastian Vettel. This is where he gets so close to the wall. He's giving it a bit of room this time. He won't be on his final Q3 runner. Sebastian comes across the line and only goes second. Only second. That's interesting. I think, well, do Red Bull have more pace than we're expecting? I don't know. I will say, though, Lewis Hamilton does need to do a lap on the hypersofts, because those ultra softs will not get him through comfortably to Q2. They might get him through to Q2, but not comfortably. He went wide at the final corner anyway, so he did make a bit of a mistake. Going Ricciardo, that's from Nathan. But yeah, Ricciardo is currently fastest. I'm going to wait for Valtteri Bottas to complete an actual serious lap time before I read out the order, because Bottas is currently last, but his lap time is half a minute almost behind Ricciardo. And I don't know what Bottas is doing here. He looks like he's holding up Max Verstappen. Bottas is also on the ultra soft tyre. Red Bull look good, but Mercedes and Ferrari will turn up their engines. Absolutely, that's why I think Mercedes and Ferrari will out-qualify the two Red Bulls. I don't think Red Bull have enough power to beat Mercedes and Ferrari, as Valtteri Bottas starts his first qualifying lap. Comes into turn 1. He made a mistake here in practice 1, but is looking very good in turn 1 and turn 2 and turn 3. comes through to the final corner before the longest straight and the best place to overtake here at Marina Bay. And Bottas, he's being compared to Stoffel Van Dorn because Bottas is still in the drop zone, but so we won't know how quick Valtteri is actually going, but he will be probably inside the top 10 with this lap. Again, all that matters is getting through to Q2. It doesn't matter where you actually finish. As long as you get through to Q2, that's all that matters. I will say though, Force India, very quick. Both of them within a second of Ricciardo. That is very impressive. I don't want Ricciardo to get pole as he's not in my fantasy. Vettel, Raikkonen and Verstappen are though. Well, you better hope that that's the top three. And in the race as well. Bottas has completed the middle sector. I think Bottas will probably go, 7th or 6th. Maybe slow, I'll have to see. Hamilton's also on a lap and so is Max Verstappen. Hamilton's still on the Ultra Softs. Max Verstappen on the Hyper Softs. Here comes Bottas. Final corner. The car does not look as good as the Red Bull through that corner. And Bottas, he goes up to P7. And Hamilton goes up to P9. So Bottas is looking good. He's about a 10th and a half ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Interesting. If this was Hungary, I would agree, but it's Singapore. I think you're responding to someone else. I'm not sure. I'll have to read some more questions and statements out in the chat. Tonka Toy Truck. Sky was talking about Red Bull. Had how they have reservations about the engine mats from Renault. The car is noticeably off. I haven't heard about that. I'll have to do some digging on that. Are the Force Indias challenging Bottas and Hamilton? Both Force Indias are ahead of both Mercedes, but both Mercedes are on the Ultra Soft and both Force Indias did their laps on the Hyper Soft. So Mercedes are definitely faster than the Force Indias, but Force India aren't miles off. They aren't miles off. Just looking, I think Mercedes and Ferrari are saving their serious laps for the final. I think you're trying to say the final Q3 laps from some legendary snipers. Yep, that's absolutely what they're doing. Keep putting in the chat, guys, what your predictions are for qualifying, as we are semi through Q1. I'll read out the order now before the final runs in Q1. So Daniel Ricciardo is fastest. Then it's Vettel second, Raikkonen third. Grosjean is up in fourth. Just watching a replay of Bottas for some reason. I think he's going to go straight on at turn 1, isn't he? No, we're just seeing a random replay for some reason. Don't know why we're seeing this replay. Right, sorry about that, guys. The stream for some reason went off. Again, I did say that I had some technical issues coming into this stream, so sorry about that. But yeah, we'll try our best, guys. Hopefully it, all sticks together for the next hour and a half. Rip, Kaz, yep, offline. Don't worry, I'm online. Hulkenberg is currently on a lap. He's coming through the mid-sector now. Yep, we are back. My internet and my computer is not running absolutely smoothly today, so you might have to put up with some issues. And if I'm echoing, I'm not sure why. I think that might just be for you. I think that's Brandon who's saying echo. I don't think there is an echo. Just a minor issue for some reason. My OBS disconnected and then decided to reconnect. suddenly. It's done that before. If you've watched all of my streams here, you would have known that that's happened before. So yeah, whenever my OBS disconnects, it immediately reconnects. It's a small glitch. That's all it is. Right, I'll post the first picture of qualifying today. Hopefully, guys, tomorrow's stream will go a lot more smoothly. We're at the end of Q1 though, and Gasly has gone up to 13th place. Leclerc's gone up to 9th. Very impressive by Charles Leclerc. The drop zone is Van Dorn, Ericsson, Hartley, Stroll and Sorokin. Van Dorn is out in 16th place, 2/10 off Kevin Magnussen. Alonso is currently 13th but goes up to 8th. Hamilton is 13th and has done his laps. Hartley goes 16th, so he is out. Hartley, Van Dorn are out. The two Williamses will be out as well. Where does Marcus Ericsson go? Ericsson is into Q2. Where is Kevin Magnussen? Is he on a lap or no? This is Lance Stroll. Yep, that's why we just had a yellow flag, because Lance Stroll went deep at, I think, turn 7. And I think that is Stoffel Van Dorn hitting the wall. Yep, it is. Oh, that's done, I think, some damage to his car. Not good there by Stoffel. Oh, Lewis Hamilton losing the back end on his ultra soft tyres. Still trying to set laps on. Right. I'll try and post this picture for you guys. Try and get this picture up. Right. I think it should... Yep, there you go. This is Kimi Räikkönen, who is currently at the end of Q1 in 3rd. Ferrari, I still think, are the favourites. I still think Ferrari are favourites. If you disagree, then put in the chat below. Nathan, why is Mercedes so slow? Because, well, in Q1, the reason they were slow is because they were on the ultra soft tyres and everyone else was on hyper soft. Mercedes trying to save a set of tyres for the race. That might be a sign that they might be doing an extra pit stop. Is K-Mag out? Yes, Kevin Magnussen is out of qualifying. So the people out of qualifying is Kevin Magnussen, Brendan Hartley, Stoffel Van Dorn, Sergei Sorokin and Lance Stroll. Kevin Magnussen just hasn't been quick this weekend. Even though I think he missed an opportunity to set a lap at the end, he hasn't been quick this weekend. He hasn't had the pace. Not enough to get in the top 10. Just not good enough. Will Mercedes be a lot faster on hypers? That's from Game of Ben. Yes, they will. They should be at least the 3rd fastest team. Probably 2nd fastest once they turn their power unit up as well. In Hungary, Mercedes are better than here. I'm not sure about that. We'll have to see once we get to the end of qualifying before we make a verdict on that. Toy Truck, his time was nowhere near a qualifying attempt. It's as if he did not get his last lap. I don't think he did. I don't think he was actually out on track. I think he was still in the pits. So I think Haas were a bit cocky there, assuming they would just get through. When this track, if you've watched qualifying here in the past, this track, it ramps up a lot in terms of grip. So to just stay in the pits and think that you're going to be safe is not a wise thing to do. Look at Roman's time. That's also from Tonka Toy Truck. Roman was very good in Q1. Only half a second off Ricciardo, who was fastest. Addiction, Magnussen Q1, Ericsson Q2. Yep, Ericsson did get through to Q2, and so did Charles Leclerc. So both Saubers in Q2. Great job. Legendary Snipers. I hope Singapore doesn't get removed. It's such a nice track, even though it doesn't provide the greatest racing, and I know a lot of people do criticise it. You have to keep Singapore because even if there's not great wheel-to-wheel racing, we still get craziness like we had last year at the start and in the wet conditions. And just look at the track. Look how beautiful this track is at night. It is one of the best looking circuits I think I've ever seen, especially from an aerial view as they're showing right now on the TV. So from a commercial standpoint, it would be so stupid to get rid of Singapore. So stupid. Tonka Toy Truck, I think Steiner is getting conservative in his team strategy because of Grosjean not good. I'm not sure. Not sure about that. JB, these F1 drivers have balls of steel. I would be crapping myself if I was in an F1 car. Yeah, they do. They do. But to them, this is just another day. Another day in their lives. Just looking for some more questions or statements. Hello to Aeron Dynamics. Says he's late, but no worry. No worries. I was late starting. I was half an hour late starting, so don't worry, all is good. As Q2 should be getting underway in about 2 minutes, I would say. Grosjean, just pictured there on the TV, very fast. P4 in Q1. Could he do that for the actual qualifying at the end in Q3? Who knows? W says, keep Singapore and add in Macau. Macau, that is one track where I'm so surprised that F1 has never considered bringing that track to the calendar, because all the young drivers that come up to F1, including, I think Lewis Hamilton has said it before, they always talk about how great and how challenging of a track Macau is. They love that track. I think Lewis Hamilton, I think once in an interview, said that if there was one track he would add to the calendar, it would be Macau. So I don't understand why they've never considered or tried a Grand Prix there, because that circuit is very, very good. If you've never seen a race there, after this stream, go on YouTube and try and search for, overtakes at Macau and racing at Macau, because it's such a good track. Get rid of Sochi. It's a train track, literally. That's from JB. Well, sadly, it's the next race on the calendar. I cannot wait for that race to be over. Cannot wait for it to be over. Hopefully, for my live streams that weekend, you guys can keep me entertained, because I don't think there's going to be a lot of entertainment for that race. As Kimi Raikkonen comes out on Ultra Softs, I think. Was it Ultra Softs? I'll have to take a look. Hamilton is coming out on Hyper Softs. So Mercedes, well, they know they're just not fast enough on the Ultra Softs. Russia 2015 was decent. Only because the accident at the end, really, with Bottas and Raikkonen. I still didn't think the 2015 race was that great either. For me, Baku is the most dangerous circuit because of its long straight. Anyone can be a hero / zero. Those two kinks before you actually get onto the main straight is quite scary, especially if you're in the dirty air of another car, as Pierre Gasly found out with Kevin Magnussen. Macau is basically Nordschleife, but even more dangerous. That's from Stella. You could argue that. You could argue that, but they wouldn't still be racing with the F3 cars on that track if it was that dangerous, because they don't race open wheel cars on the Nordschleife. I don't think they do. So it's dangerous, but it's not that dangerous. And the 2014 Russian Grand Prix was the worst. Some legendary snipers. No, 2017 was the worst. That race was the worst race in F1 history. No doubt about it. Leclerc for Q3. That's from JB. If we get another surprise like we did in Q1 with Magnussen going out, maybe. He does need to hook up a great lap, though, at the end of the session to do that. Any guesses on how Ferrari or Vettel will choke under the pressure this weekend? Well, they've already used up the crashing at the start card from last year, so this year, if they do choke, it'll probably be on strategy. Say the safety car comes out, which happens every year at Singapore. The safety car will come out and Vettel and Ferrari, or no, Ferrari will just decide not to pit, and that will destroy his race. I guarantee you that's the way they will choke away this Grand Prix, as Kimi Raikkonen on the ultra soft tyres is on his lap and he's just about to complete the first sector. I'll try and find you guys a let me just try and find Q1 classification. Right, I've got it. In case you're just joining, I'll just post the classification of Q1 and who went out. Kevin Magnussen, Stoffel Van Dorn, Brendan Hartley, and the two Williamses of Sorokin and Stroll going out in qualifying. There you go. Let me just enlarge that. There you go. That is your classification. Magnussen, Hartley, Van Dorn, Sorokin and Stroll going out in Q1. Just not good enough. Not good enough at all. From Kevin Magnussen and Haas. Hamilton has completed the first sector on his Hypersoft tyres. So Kimi Raikkonen should be doing or completing his lap very soon. So expect lap times to be on the board in just a moment. Just watching Hamilton coming through now. Vettel's not that far behind Hamilton on his lap. He's only about 5 seconds behind. Stoffel is struggling. That's from WWYD. That's why he's not at McLaren for 2019. And that's probably why he won't be in F1 for 2019. Those puns make me go insane. That's from Stella. Yep, JB's done the same. He's trying the same trick as yesterday. I'm not going to read it out again because I badly failed at that yesterday. As Raikkonen has set a lap, but it's 20 seconds off the pace. Hamilton comes through now on his Hypersoft tyres and does a 1:37.3. That is a good lap. That is a very good lap. Vettel on Ultrasofts, 1.5 seconds down. Mercedes are showing good pace here. Bottas goes second, but only he's a second down in second place. So Lewis Hamilton has just produced an absolute mega lap. He is a second faster than his teammate on the same tyres as Daniel Ricciardo is sliding his car through the final sector, almost hitting the wall. Now he's going to come up to the final corner, flicks it in. Where does Ricciardo go on the same tyres? Second, only half a tenth behind Lewis Hamilton. Game on. Max Verstappen, he is coming through now. Where can he go? Is he going to, he's going to go wide slightly, and he does go fastest because of that. Max Verstappen is fastest, a tenth ahead of Lewis Hamilton. I think Verstappen, though, might have that lap time took away because he did go off the track at the end. Did it have an effect? Who knows if it had enough of that effect. Kimi Raikkonen, though, needs to set a competitive lap on his Ultrasofts. Unless he has an issue. He's coming back to the pits. For guys listening to Team Radio, does Kimi have a problem? I don't have the sound turned up on my TV for obvious reasons because of the stream. So guys, if you're listening to Team Radio, does Kimi have an issue or no? As Grosjean is now coming through the final corner. Now, where will Romain Grosjean go? He goes only 11th. He is on Hypersofts as well. Where is the pace? By the way, Vettel is down in 10th. So Vettel has to set a lap on the Hypersoft tyres, no doubt. Charles Leclerc hits the... Oh, that's a hard hit. He's going to have to pit after that and check that tyre. A disappointing Roman. Yep, that's from JB. Who missed? I think that's Mr. Hicks. Dude, you are a legend. On track, we get nothing. You are the track live commentary as far as I'm concerned. Thank you for that. Thank you very much. If you haven't subscribed, please do. because I do this for every race weekend. 15 to 20 second delay trips, tops, so good. Sorry about that. There's nothing I can do about that, unfortunately, because YouTube gives an automatic delay. I think it's 10 seconds automatic delay, or maybe at the absolute best it's 7 seconds. So there's nothing I can do about the delay. That's the best I can do with what I have. But for next year, I should probably talk about this in a live stream soon. For next year, I'm massively going to be improving these watch-alongs, including face cam. So you guys can get excited for that in 2019. Ricardo third, Tonka toy truck. Yep, and not that far off the top. So Red Bull are looking very, very good in qualifying. A lot better than I thought. Ferrari and Ultras, that's a mighty saviour. Yep, they were. Vettel has to go again because Grosjean will most likely improve in P11. He will be on Hypersoft, and Vettel, if he doesn't do another lap, he's going to be out of qualifying. So Vettel has to go out on a set of the Hypersofts. Mr. Hicks, are you doing the race tomorrow? Yes, I am. I'll be going, hopefully, if there's no technical issues like today, I will be going live 1 hour before the race starts, doing the whole race, and then about 45 minutes after the race ends, at about 4:30 p.m. UK time, something like that, I'll be going live again for a full race reaction. So don't forget to join me tomorrow for all of that. Can you and Sean replace Crofty and Ted? It'd be a pleasure if I could go to all these Grand Prix and work for Sky F1. But they seem pretty content with David Croft, which is a bit of a sad situation if you ask me. Alonso ahead of Vettel. Yep, he is. And by, what, a tenth? What tyres is Vettel coming out on now? Is that Ultras again? I'm just trying to... No, it's Hypersofts. Right, so Sebastian Vettel is safe. I think as long as he gets a lap in and improves, he'll be safe. Just looking at some more questions or statements in the chat. Falling Out EMS just joined. Anything special? Kevin Magnussen went out in Q1, and Red Bull look very, very fast in qualifying. So, yeah, there's a couple of interesting points so far. Who do you have for pole? Again, from Falling Out EMS. I'm still going for Sebastian Vettel. I still think Vettel will get pole. Just looking at more chat questions or statements. I want to add F1 to Master Soft tyres for 2019. That would be so cool. Max on pole. If it was Q3 so far, yeah. They should just have 3 tyres in F1 qualifying, hard and soft. Yeah, they should. I think for next year, that's what they're going to try and do, is simplify the tyres. Here we go. Kimi Raikkonen on Hypersofts now. He's down in 15th, of course, so he cannot make a mistake. And Kimi Raikkonen is looking quick as he goes through the first sector. Man, my fantasy picks are not going to be good this week. Well, let's wait till the race, because in the race in Singapore, anything can happen. So you might just get lucky. Rear tyres get a beating on this track. That's from Tonka Toy Truck. They absolutely do, and that's why it's very, very hard on the tyres. Kimi Raikkonen gets close to the wall there as he now completes the middle sector. Kimi Raikkonen will probably go up to P3 or P4. This is not going to be the fastest lap of all. No way. Here comes Kimi up to the underground in the final sector. It's now coming through the final few corners. Gets close to the wall again, and now comes through the final corner. Where will Kimi Raikkonen go? He goes fastest by 200ths of a second. Kimi Raikkonen, fastest from Max Verstappen. So Ferrari do have the pace. Vettel is now on the lap. He has to make sure he doesn't bottle it or else he will be out of qualifying. He's currently P11 because Raikkonen just went fastest. Vettel is about to complete the middle sector. The final sector is where Vettel gains all of his lap time. Singapore is hard to overtake. That's from Kevin Cooper. Yep, it is. It's very, very hard. One of the hardest on the calendar. But it's not impossible. If you manage your tyres better than others, then that really can help you when it comes to getting past people. Because tyre wear is really bad at this track. And, there's lots of cars in the way here. The Haas of Romain Grosjean gets right in the way of Sebastian Vettel. That's poor from Grosjean. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a penalty there for what he just did. Vettel, though, should get through. Yeah, he goes 5th, but Grosjean there held up Sebastian Vettel massively. Massively held him up. Not good enough there by Grosjean. We'll see a replay of it now from... So Grosjean, it's like he thinks he's going to come around the corner, then thinks, he's not going to come, he's too far behind. So he pulls back to the racing line, and then he sees Vettel's there and then pulls off again. So I think that might be as well a communication issue with the Haas team, because they should be telling him where Vettel is on the track. No excuses there by the Haas mechanics. They've got to be better communicating where other cars are. Sky F1 biased commentator. What is he? What's Crofty said now? As he says something about Vettel not being particularly good, or I don't know. I know that Sky F1 can be quite biased, as we are now at the end of Q2. In the drop zone right now is Fernando Alonso, Romain Grosjean, Charles Leclerc, Marcus Ericsson and Pierre Gasly. As we come now to the final runs in Q2. Bottas comes through the final corner. Goes 3rd and only half a tenth behind Raikkonen. It is so close at the top. So close. Charles Leclerc goes 11th. So he is out of qualifying. Not a bad effort though. Esteban Ocon, he needs to improve. And he does. He goes up to 8th. But that's not great there by Ocon. Fernando Alonso goes 10th. So far he is in the top 10. But there are other cars to set a lap time. Grosjean goes 8th, so Fernando Alonso is out of qualifying. Hülkenberg goes 9th, so Esteban Ocon goes down to 10th. Is Carlos Sainz on a lap or not? Ericsson's on a lap, but I don't know if Ericsson is improving or not. I'm going to assume not. He is going to come through though. The final corner. Here comes Marcus Ericsson. Can he improve? He does improve, but not his position. Both Saubers, and Sainz is out, by the way. Sainz is out. He did not complete a lap. And Gasly is also out as well. So the people going out in Q2 are Fernando Alonso, Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc, Marcus Ericsson, and Pierre Gasly. I said Sainz was the one to watch, but, well, not for those reasons. Perez, Grosjean, Hülkenberg and Ocon going through. I said in the build-up that both Haas and Renault probably will and kind of have to at least get one of their cars into Q3, and that's what they've done. Grosjean and Hülkenberg going through for those respective teams. Yep, no mystics as of this weekend. That's from Nib. That's true. That is absolutely true. I was correct with Gasly being the one to watch in qualifying at Monza, but not today with Carlos Sainz. Fernando Alonso was a 10th away from getting into Q3. So McLaren aren't slow. They're definitely not slow. All my drivers in Q3. Yay, that's from JB. P8. Yep, P8. That's from Aeron Dynamics. I'm going to assume he's in your fantasy team. That's from Aeron Dynamics. Best Q2 ever in 2018. That's from Legendary Snipers. There's been much better. There's been much better Q2s than that, for sure. Just looking for some more comments in the chat. Sad for Alonso not in a competitive car. That's from Beverly. We've been feeling sorry for Fernando Alonso for a long time now, because again, as you've just said, not in a competitive enough car. It's sad, but that's the reality of the situation. I can't wait for him to retire, K-Mag. Yep, that's what he said at the last race. I can understand why, because he's had plenty of clashes with Fernando as well, not just in 2018 but also 2017 and 2014 as well. If anyone remembers Spa, Magnussen getting very close and pushing Alonso off the track at Spa back in 2014. So those two they don't like each other at all. I'm getting Bottas in for Verstappen. That's from JB. Watch out though for Verstappen, because he looks quick. Looks very, very quick. Remember last year he almost got pole. He qualified P2 behind Sebastian Vettel last year. I'm still going Vettel for pole, as I can't pronounce your name. The person who's just put Vettel 3 times. That's a very difficult name to pronounce, so sorry. But he goes Vettel, Vettel, Vettel. I agree. I think Vettel will get pole. But it's going to be so close between the top 6. So close. One mistake and you could end up P6. Say if you're Sebastian Vettel, you could end up P6 if you make one slight mistake instead of being in P1 or P2 like you should be. Tonka Toy Truck K-Mag has no explanation for his slow pace. It's just not quick this weekend. Not quick at all. James Eric, go Sebastian. I know you're a Sebastian Vettel fan, so yep, you're going to want him to pull it out when it matters. He hasn't had a pole position since Hockenheim, so Vettel does need to, finally get a pole, because it seems as though the last few races he's been favourite to get pole, but just hasn't got the pole position. So today he has to pull it out. He has to pull out that stellar lap at the end of qualifying that you need to get pole. Due to taking my family member at hospital. That's unfortunate to hear. Hopefully all is okay with you. That's Ultraman Nexus. He is now a big part of the channel, of course, being a moderator. So hopefully his family is doing good. This could be a better quality than Monza. That's from Niblo. I think it will, because we have the 2 Red Bulls in there as well. With the 2 Red Bulls in there, we should have a 6-way fight for pole. From what I've seen so far in Q1 and Q2. I like Red Bulls, but Vettel is the best. I'm just looking at more comments. Hope all is well. Ultraman Nexus, yep, we all do. All of us at the Chaza HD F1 community. Hope your family is doing well. Just looking at for more comments. Anyone going to follow him to Indy? That's talking about Fernando Alonso. That's from Nathan. I think Van Dorn might. From what I've heard, Stoffel Van Dorn is maybe more likely to go to IndyCar or something like that than stay in F1. And if Alonso does go to IndyCar and McLaren, what I'm trying to say, if McLaren create an IndyCar team, then just put Alonso and Van Dorn in the McLaren IndyCar team. That'd be great to see. Because, they're not going to do well in F1 because of the machinery, but in IndyCar, the machinery doesn't quite matter anywhere near as much. So Alonso and Van Dorn might dominate IndyCar, you don't know. Goodbye to Stoffel next season. That's from Aeron Dynamics. Thank you. Thanks for this live. That's from Beverly. Thank you for tuning in. And no problem. Pleasure to do this live, as always. falling out EMS. It's always a good race when 3 teams can fight for the win. True. I think Red Bull in the race will have the fastest car because their tyre wear is better than Ferrari and Mercedes, and tyre wear is so important at Singapore. But Q3 now, guys, is underway, and the people in Q3 are Raikkonen, Verstappen, Bottas, Hamilton, Ricciardo, Vettel, Perez, Grosjean, Hulkenberg, and Esteban Ocon. Those are the 10 drivers competing in Q3. I will try and find the classification for Q2. Right, I've just found it. I'll post it for you guys now. So if you're just joining, I'm about to show you what happened in Q2 and who got eliminated. Let me just put it on the screen. The Red Bulls and the Ferraris and the Mercedes are coming out onto the track now. Right, here you go. Q2 classification. So Fernando Alonso, Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc, Marcus Ericsson and Pierre Gasly eliminated in Q2. The Red Bulls look better than the Mercedes. I've been kind of disagreeing with you a lot with Say Rugara a lot this weekend. I have to say right now, it looks like he is correct. Red Bull do look better. Do you notice Alonso calls Van Dorn the Stoffel? I haven't actually noticed that. I haven't heard any real interviews where Fernando's actually been talking about Stoffel. JB, do you like karting, Chaz? And do you have a karting track nearby? I have karted, but I wouldn't say I like karting because I don't do it really that much at all. I've only done it maybe twice in quite a few years now. That's how little I have done it. I do have a karting track nearby. I think there's only one left in my county in England. There was one that was actually the biggest, which has now closed for business. So, yeah, it's not looking great down in my part of the country for karting. But, yeah, where I live in the country, it's not exactly the most expensive part of the UK. I will go for Vettel hitting 136.8 in engine mode. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. But here we go. Here is the first Q3 runs, and Kimi Raikkonen will start it off. By the way, before these first Q3 runs end, guys, don't forget to subscribe either on the bottom right of the screen or click on my channel name or click on the link in the description. Like this video, comment down below what you thought of qualifying for the 2018 Singapore Grand Prix. Don't forget to join our Discord server, link below down in the description. And as well, follow me on Twitter for more updates about the channel. And check out my website to keep up to date with what I am doing on this channel. I will go. I'm just trying to read more comments as Kimi Raikkonen is coming. He's probably halfway through the second sector. I remember that biggest karting track. It's in Cornwall, isn't it? I really wanted to go there when we were up in Cornwall. Yep, that's what it was. It was closed a few months ago. Sad, but yeah, Cornwall down here. We just the finances in this part of the world is not great. It's actually one of the most poorest parts of Europe, apparently, according to a study. So yeah, I'm not made of money down here. Neither is anyone. Here we go then. Final Q3 runs. Kimi Raikkonen is in the final sector. Oh, kicks out the rear there. So Kimi Raikkonen pushing very hard on his rear tyres and gets very close to the wall and comes through the final corner. Now, by the way, Lewis Hamilton is going faster. Kimi Raikkonen does a 1:37.4. Raikkonen is currently fastest, but Bottas and Hamilton are going quite a lot faster right now. Here comes Lewis Hamilton. If he doesn't make a mistake here, he's going to go fastest. Here comes Hamilton. Through the final corner. And a 1:36.0 from Lewis Hamilton. 1.3 seconds faster. That is why he is the championship leader. Bottas goes second, 7 tenths off. Here comes Sebastian Vettel. 6/10 off. What a lap from Lewis Hamilton. A 36 flat. Ricciardo's 5th and 1.5 seconds off. And Max Verstappen, where does he go? He goes 2nd and 3/10 off. But what a lap. That was incredible. Just when you think that Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes do not have the pace to get pole or to get on the front row, he will produce that kind of lap. A 36.0. What a lap that was. What planet is he on today, Lewis Hamilton? And, well, Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Raikkonen have work to do because currently Vettel is 3rd and Raikkonen is 5th. Hamilton is 1st, Bottas is 4th, that's Mercedes, and Red Bull are 2nd with Verstappen and 6th with Ricciardo, and then it's Hülkenberg in 7th, the 2 Force Indians of Ocon and Perez 8th and 9th. Grosjean is 10th, but I don't think he has set a lap yet and is currently on his out lap. Wow, what a lap. What a lap. I think, let me just go back through the chat. I think someone said, trying to see, someone says something about what lap time Vettel would do unless that person has deleted it. Aerodynamics, yeah, Aerodynamics said Vettel will hit a 36.8 in engine mode. Well, Lewis Hamilton's done a 36.0 and Vettel has done a 36.6. So you're right, you're actually more than right with Sebastian Vettel, but Lewis Hamilton has blown that out of the water. What a lap. Hamilton just believed hard enough. I bet he feels so blessed right now. Oh my, that's from W. Yeah, I'm wrong. That's from Aerodynamics. Well, you're not wrong. You did say Sebastian would at least get a 36.8. So you're not wrong. You just didn't see... I don't think anyone saw Lewis Hamilton doing that kind of lap. I bet these fans have helped him this weekend. That's from JB. E7 suspect. That lap though, yep, it was a mega lap. Mega lap. That's one of the best laps he's probably done at Singapore. Wow, I'm not a Lewis fan, but wow, that's from Beverly. I'm not sure how that can be beaten unless there is a lot more lap time out there on the track and there's a lot more rubber and grip out there. I don't see how Lewis Hamilton won't get pole because Hamilton will probably improve. So, yeah, I think Hamilton has at least an 80% chance of pole here after his first run in Q3. Ferrari continue to bottle it, but there's only one run left in Q3, so they do have a chance. If they get it absolutely right here in Q3, then it's still on for Ferrari. Still a chance for them to salvage something as both Mercedes come out onto the track first. Then it will be, I think, both Ferraris out on the track. Here comes Kimi Raikkonen, and here comes, eventually, Sebastian Vettel. If he improves, delete F1. That's from Niblo. No grazie ragazzi tonight. That's from Aerodynamics. Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see because Vettel might have a lot more lap time left in him to get the pole. Vettel trundling along in the pit lane as he's coming out onto the track. So for everyone watching right now, the 61 people watching right now, who do you think going into the final Q3 run will get pole? Do you think it will still be Hamilton, or do you think Max Verstappen or Sebastian Vettel can get pole off of Hamilton? What do you think? Put in the chat right now and I'll read it out before the end of the Q3 session. Come on, monster lap from Ricciardo. That's from W. James Eric still Vettel. Hamilton, unfortunately. That's from JB. I'd have to say right now, it's probably going to be Lewis Hamilton. Come on, Seb. That's an error on dynamics. A W, yeah, it'll be Hamilton. Legendary Sniper says Hamilton will get it. Here we go. The final run in Q3. Fasten your seatbelts, guys. This is going to be a fantastic 2 minutes. As Hamilton, I think, is at the front of the... No, he's not the front of the pack. Kimi Raikkonen is trying to battle his way to the front of the pack, but it's not working, as the Force India is going to be at the front of the pack. So Raikkonen, as Christian Horner is praying, no doubtedly, to his God for a pole, as Kimi Raikkonen is now about to start his lap. Get ready, guys. I am ready for what is going to be a very exciting final Q3 as Kimi Raikkonen starts his lap. Here we go. Raikkonen into turn 1. Oh, big bump into turn 1. Can he set a faster first sector time? That will be a good indication as to how fast Ferrari can go in this final Q3 run. So here comes Kimi down to the first sector. Hamilton was a 26.2 in the first sector. That's very fast. Kimi is 300ths off in the first sector, so he's close, but not close enough. Lewis Hamilton comes through and does not improve on his first sector. That's important. He was a 10.5 off. Kimi Raikkonen is halfway through the middle sector. He's coming up to the end of the middle sector very, very soon. Just this little straight once he comes out of here. Gets very close to the wall. Kimi Raikkonen is 4/10 slower than Lewis Hamilton in the middle sector. Kimi is not going to get pole. There's no way he is going to get pole. Fastest first sector, Sebastian Vettel. Game on. Kimi Raikkonen is still coming through. Lewis Hamilton has given up on his lap. He's 3.5 seconds off in the middle sector. So Lewis Hamilton has either made a mistake or given up. I think he's given up. Here comes Kimi Raikkonen. As Sergio Perez goes into P7. Kimi Raikkonen stays 5th. That's not good enough by Kimi. That's poor. But to be honest, Ferrari's performance right now is not looking too good. This is what happened to Hamilton at turn 7. Yeah, straddled the curve, went wide, cost him a lot of lap time. We need to see what's going on. We need to cut away from this replay right now. And Bottas stays 4th. He does improve on his lap time, but stays 4th. Here comes, who's this? Daniel Ricciardo stays 6th. Everyone looks like they're staying in the same positions. Lewis Hamilton has crossed the line. Sebastian Vettel has crossed the line and stays 3rd. He didn't improve. Here comes Max Verstappen. Stays 2nd. Lewis Hamilton is on pole from Max Verstappen in 2nd. Sebastian Vettel 3rd. Valtteri Bottas in 4th. 5th is Kimi Raikkonen. 6th is Daniel Ricciardo. 7th is Sergio Perez. 8th is Grosjean. 9th is Ocon. And 10th is Nico Hülkenberg. Hamilton, again, when it matters, and this is why he's the championship leader, and in why, in my opinion, he is better than Sebastian Vettel, because when it matters, he produces that lap and that moment. Hamilton on pole, Vettel 3rd. If Vettel does not get a good start to tomorrow's race, then the championship might be close to being over tomorrow afternoon, but of course, a long way to go in this weekend. Hamilton doesn't look massively happy, but I'm sure he is happy, but he knows there's a big fight ahead. The top teams are perfectly shuffled up for tomorrow. They are. You've got Daniel Ricciardo who's going to be aggressive with a fast car in P6. Raikkonen and Bottas P4 and P5. And then we've got Sebastian Vettel 3rd. He can be a lot faster than that. Max Verstappen 2nd. He will be aggressive. And Lewis Hamilton on pole, who is going to be looking probably in his mirrors more than in front, because I don't think in a race trim he will have the best car, as Ocon hit the wall there coming up to the final corner. celebrate now. Max is blowing by you, Hamilton. Just reading some more comments in the chat. If you just joined, what did you think of qualifying? Lewis Hamilton is on pole, from Max Verstappen second, and Sebastian Vettel, the favourite for pole. He should have got pole today in terms of, well, the pace going in. He looked very good, and he didn't. He didn't produce it when it mattered. But that's just the way Sebastian has been since the German Grand Prix. He has not produced the performances that he's had to or needed to when it mattered. And it continuously and progressively just looks like that Vettel and the title is slipping from his grasp. Simon Cragland, WTF, what happened? Hamilton is on pole from Max Verstappen second, Sebastian Vettel third, Bottas fourth, Raikkonen fifth, and Daniel Ricciardo is in P6. Take care to WWYD. I don't think he's very happy because I think he's a big Ferrari fan, so I don't think he's very happy that Ferrari have ended up third and fifth. But there's a race tomorrow, so it's not over yet. Vettel is feeling the pressure. He is. Lewis Hamilton, he has pressure on him also, but he's embracing it. Vettel isn't. I'll try and post a picture for you guys of the top 3, or maybe the top 10, we'll see. Right, I've got the top 3 graphic, so this is just confirmation of what has happened. Let me just get this picture posted up for you guys. It's taking a bit longer than normal because my computer, by the way, if you're wondering why the stream hasn't been going as long as normally it is, it's because I didn't start until half an hour later because my computer kept freezing when I was trying to set up. So sorry about that, but all sorted now and it should be sorted for tomorrow. But here you go, guys. Confirmation. Lewis Hamilton is on pole. Max Verstappen is second. And Sebastian Vettel is third. And if that finishes the way it has tomorrow in the race, then Lewis Hamilton will end up being 40 points clear in the championship with only 6 races left. So Vettel has to be aggressive tomorrow and be aggressive at the right times, not aggressive at the wrong times. Legendary Snipers, hey Chazza, can I have a moderator permissions? Hit me up in my Discord private message and I'll sort that out for you. Niblo, and this is why Lewis is the best qualifier ever, period. I wouldn't say the best qualifier ever. I think Ayrton Senna is the best qualifier ever, but definitely Hamilton is in the top 3 or 4, no doubt about that. Typical Lewis quotes, great job back at the factory and great fans here. He doesn't need to say any more, does he? They're doing an interview now with Sebastian Vettel and he looks absolutely, I wouldn't say miserable, but just down, depressed. He looks depressed after what he's just gone through there. Hamilton is ruining this effing sport. That's from Stella. Championship over. That's from, I think it says Prussia. It's not over because there are no points scored, of course, for qualifying. It's scored for the race. So, yeah. Mighty Saviour, dude, the guy was on another level. Ferrari had the better pace and car, but this is typical Hammer time. Yeah, it is. It is. Racing God. Should be a 2-stop. That's from Niblo. I'll get into what the pit stop strategy should be for tomorrow's race. Right now, yeah, it probably will be a 2-stop, but who knows? Maybe the teams, if there's certain circumstances, maybe they can pull it out a bit longer and make it a 1-stop. Beverly, does Vettel have a chance of the championship? He does. He's only 30 points behind, and of course, you know, it's only qualifying. This is not the race yet. If this happens tomorrow and it goes up to 40 points, then I'd probably say that it's mostly over. But if Hamilton retires tomorrow and Vettel wins, then the championship gap goes down to, what, 5 points? So it's not over. It's not over. Let's see what happens tomorrow first. If Vettel retires, though, and Hamilton wins, it is absolutely 1,000,000% over. Because 55 points will be too big of a gap to hunt down. Let's hope we get a 2017 since Hamilton's in front. Lol, aerodynamics. If it rains again, maybe we can get some chaos. JB, I've noticed that when Seb is in the lead of the World Drivers' Championship, he's not that far ahead. But when Hamilton is ahead, he is quite far ahead. It's because I think Hamilton kind of embraces that lead more and that pressure more, as I just said a few minutes ago. Being in the lead of a World Championship it's a pressure thing. It's a very pressurised thing. And Hamilton embraces that more than Vettel. Vettel doesn't quite embrace it anywhere near as much as Lewis does. Mighty Saviour, if Hamilton wins this one, it's over unless DNFs happen in the last races. If Hamilton wins, then it's mostly over, in my opinion. So tomorrow's race for Vettel is so important. If he wants to win the championship, tomorrow he has to get the win. He has to. No excuses. Hey Chaz, I'm gonna try and get into F1 either in 2023 or 2024. Wish me luck. Good luck with that. That's some legendary snipers. I bet Chaz is screaming of happiness inside the Max's P2. I'm pleased that he's done well, but as long as we get a good race tomorrow, I don't care if Max is out of the race, because if we get a great wheel-to-wheel battle of Hamilton, Vettel, Ricciardo, Bottas, then even if Verstappen's out of the race, I don't really care. As long as we get a good race tomorrow. And I think we will. But I know what you mean by you saying that, JB. Niblo, yeah, I agree. If Hamilton wins, it's probably over. Yep. That's all I can say. Is yes. I've said about 2 or 3 times now. Lewis Hamilton is most likely going to win the championship if he does win the race tomorrow. But what a lap that was at the end. 1:36.0. No one could get near it. That is one of maybe that's Hamilton's best lap of 2018. I think that's probably his best lap, considering this track does not suit that car. It doesn't at all. I'll try and post some other pictures for you guys. Try and get a picture of Lewis Hamilton on the screen. And then we'll talk about Lewis Hamilton for a few minutes and talk about his lap. Talk about the race tomorrow for Lewis briefly. We will talk about it, of course, in depth tomorrow before the race actually starts in the build-up to the race watch-along. But we'll go through it quickly now before I come off. By the way, guys, I'm going to be on for another 20 minutes. Then I'm going to come off. And then at between 9 p.m. and I'd say 11 p.m, the qualifying review will be up on YouTube later on. So don't forget to stick around on the channel. And again, subscribe. Either click on the bottom right of the screen, click on my channel name, or click on the link in the description that goes to my channel page. Like this video, comment down below. Don't forget to join my Discord server. We have over 65 people now in that server. And as well, follow me on Twitter to keep up to date with the channel. And check out my website. That's also in the description if you want to keep up to date again with my channel. Right, I'll try and get this picture up for you guys now. Just trying to find it for you guys. Computer's not working smoothly today, which is a bit frustrating, but this is the way it is. Right. Keep putting in the chat, guys, by the way, what you thought of qualifying. what do you think about Lewis Hamilton getting pole position? What do you think about his lap? That, again, a great lap at the end. You cannot doubt that. One of the best laps of 2018. To be that far ahead of cars that really should be ahead of him. It's just a stellar job. No pun intended for one of my mods. A stellar job that he's done. There you go. There is Lewis Hamilton, your pole sitter. So, guys, what did you think first of his lap? Was it one of the best laps of 2018? What did you guys think? One of the mods getting a bit angry with Lewis Hamilton. That's understandable. I'll see you there. So thank you for all your interaction with chat. That's from Nathan. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. And thank you for coming along for the qualifying watch along. If I do get to F1, which team should I start with? We'll have to see who's actually good, won't we, in 2023 or 2024. Best qualifier ever, that's from Niblo. I still disagree, but I would say top three. But I still think Senna is the all-time best qualifier. Go to the music career thingy, Lewis. That's from JB. E7 Suspect says, best lap this year of anyone, better than Australia. I would agree. Because you have to remember, guys, sorry, just clear my throat, that Australia, Mercedes, their car was the best car. Because if Bottas had not made a mistake in Q3 in Australia, I think it would have been a Mercedes 1-2. Singapore, this is one of the worst tracks on the calendar for Mercedes. So they shouldn't be on pole, right? Well, no, think again. Because Lewis Hamilton produces a great lap and is on pole and is, by the way, 6/10 ahead of Vettel in qualifying. What a lap. Do you agree that Hamilton is better with pressure than Vettel? It's a mighty saviour. There is no doubt to be had about that. If anyone... I'm sure there's people out there that will say that Vettel is better at handling pressure than Lewis. Lewis hasn't always been good at handling pressure in his F1 career, but I think... I can't see how anyone could really disagree with that statement about Hamilton dealing better with pressure than Vettel. It's clearly been proven in the last 2 years that Hamilton, when under pressure, actually improves his performance. But with Vettel, he gets worse with pressure. If there's no pressure on Sebastian, Sebastian is one of the best drivers absolutely in the world, no doubt about it, and is very, very good. But when the pressure's on, he drops off quite a lot. He really does. Trying to just look. Matt Stanek, my blind and deaf uncle, could run Ferrari better. Not sure about that. Aerodynamics, Max is no more Maldonado Jr. Okay. Sean Richer, Red Bull did well too. They did, even though Ricciardo was P6, which is disappointing. Verstappen, front row. Very, very good. Very, very good. So, yeah, I'd say good for Red Bull. And I think tomorrow they will have the best race car because their tyre wear is the best on the grid. See you tomorrow, mate. That's from Niblo. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow, mate, as well. Of course, he is a usual on the podcast. And, well, what are we going to be discussing on the podcast? Will it be Hamilton extending his championship lead? Or will it be Vettel closing down in the championship? Who knows? But hopefully we'll see Niblo tomorrow in the chat for the watch along for the race and the race reaction. Ricardo has gone off since summer break. That's from Ben McCarthy. Yeah, kind of. But you got to remember at Spa and Monza that those are tracks which don't suit the Red Bull. So we'll see tomorrow what Ricardo can do. Because I think he'll be better in the race tomorrow. Daniel went off way before that. That's from Tonka Toy Truck. I think he kind of went off at Austria. I think that's where his performance kind of dropped compared to his teammate. Yeah, since Austria, it's just not been as good as Max, has he? Can you see Vettel win tomorrow? That's Shalang. I think that's how you pronounce it. If I'm wrong, then sorry about that. He can. He can. He has to get the start right, and he has to try and get past Verstappen as soon as possible if he can with an overtake. If he does that, then if Lewis is in the lead, then he should have a very good chance of winning. He should really have a good chance of winning. But it's all down to the start for me when it comes to Vettel. JB, either Max, Seb or Lewis for the win. Yeah. I think Bottas and Raikkonen might be able to go for a podium, depending on what happens in the front three, but we'll see, of course. But we'll move on from Hamilton, discussing him for a couple minutes. I'll try and find a picture of Verstappen, and then we'll discuss him for a couple minutes, because Verstappen was very good in quali. Let me try and find him a minute. It doesn't seem like I can find a picture of him at the moment. Hold on. Let me just scroll up. Keep putting in the chat, guys. What did you think of qualifying for the 2018 Singapore Grand Prix? Here I've got a picture of Max giving an interview to, or Martin Brundle, sorry, interviewing Max Verstappen after qualifying in P2. Here you go. So, guys, what did you think of Verstappen? Did you think he was very good? Do you think he should have done better, considering the Red Bull is a better car, I think, at this sort of track? What did you think of Max Verstappen? And do you think he can win the race tomorrow? Hamilton hasn't won around Singapore. Perfectly set up for a W tomorrow. Hamilton has won at Singapore. He has, how many races has he won? I think it's 3 that he won. 2009, 2014 and last year. But of course, if you're a Vettel fan, last year probably didn't happen. At least that's what I've seen on Twitter from some Vettel fans. As of now, yes, when it comes to Verstappen, that's some legendary snipers. If he gets a good start, that's from Shalang. Yeah, if he gets a good start and gets into the lead, I think Verstappen can control the race from the front. I think Verstappen can do that. Catholic, I can't say that, sorry about that. Max did well. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Turn 1 is key. It is. Hopefully no accidents. Thanks for that, Niblo. It will be hard to pass, so the start will be critical. The start, I think we will get some kind of accident. I'm not sure if it'll be at the front, but I think we will get an accident because the way these cars are, in terms of it being so hard to pass, you have to make those important key overtakes at the start. You have to, and if you don't, then that's going to affect your race, especially if you have a bad start. I think Hamilton will give Max all the space. That's from Aaron Chin. Good to see him in the chat after he joined, I think, the team or joined the community last week, the last race in Monza. Alonso for the win. Van Dorn will crash on purpose to help Nando. That's from JB. Shalong, safety car. It will happen. We'll definitely get a safety car. Safety cars have happened every single year at the Singapore Grand Prix, to my knowledge. I think it's 100% rate of safety cars at every single race. So, some point we'll get a safety car. There's no doubt about it. But guys, what did you think of Max Verstappen quickly before I discuss Vettel for a brief moment? What did you think of his lap, and do you think he can win tomorrow? Just looking at more. Verstappen was a surprise in a big way. Nice job from the youngster. I'm not sure if he was a surprise, but I think he definitely did well. I don't think anyone can doubt that, because Lewis was just too good today with that lap he did. So I think Verstappen did the best he could, considering how great Lewis Hamilton is and has been today. Right, I think I will move on now quickly to Vettel. Quickly discuss Sebastian Vettel and how, well, how he threw it away today, I think we can say. Let me try and find a picture. Right, I think I've got one. Keep putting in the chat, guys, what you thought of qualifying for the 2018 Singapore Grand Prix, and I'll try and read it out in the last 5 or so minutes of this stream. Right. I should be able to get this image on the screen for you guys. Right, here you go. Here is Sebastian Vettel. Not good enough from Ferrari in general today, not just Vettel. Ferrari just weren't good enough today. They should have been, at the very least, say if they can't get a car on the front row, at the very least, or not a car on the front row, but if they can't get both of their cars on the front row, they should have at least got first and third, not third and fifth. Come on, that is not good enough. It's not good enough. If you want to win a title, when it matters, end of Q3, you know, the start of races, when you're racing someone else in a key pit stop phase, you have to produce if you're going to win titles. But Ferrari, they just don't. They just don't. And they're going to lose the title. They're going to lose the title. I've said this from day one of the season that Lewis Hamilton was going to win the championship, and so far I've been proven to be correct on that, because he's just not producing when it matters. He's not producing when it matters, is Sebastian Vettel. And Ferrari are not. Ferrari have made plenty of mistakes also. You have those pit stop errors in China, Baku, Spain. Where else? There was another one in there. Hungary. They just have not produced, and Vettel as well just haven't produced when it mattered. And that's why Hamilton leads the championship and why he is going to win this World Championship. Jerry says Seb needs to step up. He does. If he doesn't step up now, then he will be losing this championship. No doubt. Tonka Toy Truck, Kimi is making his retirement look premature. He's not retiring. He's not retiring. In case you didn't know, he's off to Sauber for 2019 and 2020. Watchalong championship over if Hamilton wins. I agree. Tonka Toy Truck, especially compared to Vettel lately. Yeah. Kimi has been good, very good in the last few races. I think since France up to now, he has been good. Even though in qualifying today, I don't think he was very good at all. You know, still, despite what he's done today, he has been very good since the French Grand Prix. And most of 2018, he has been good. It's been his best year, I think, since 2013. JB, I think Kvyat has just signed for Toro Rosso. I'll have to check that on Twitter. Let me just have a look. I don't really know where to look for this news, but if that's true, then well, it's good for Toro Rosso because they need a driver in there who's good, and of course with Pierre Gasly going to Red Bull, they need a good driver in there, and that's exactly what Danny Kvyat is. But I think from Kvyat's point of view, I disagree if he does go back to Toro Rosso. I disagree with him going back to Toro Rosso because no matter what you think, yes, he was given a chance by Red Bull by going into the Red Bull team in 2015 and all that, but he was unfairly dropped from Red Bull in 2016 and then was dropped, was it what, 3 times in 2017 or 2 times? And was kind of mugged off by Red Bull. So I think Kvyat should just mug them off back and say, you know, I'm not coming back. You've dropped me 3 times. You've ruined my career. I'm not coming back. So if Kvyat goes back, then if he gets dropped again, he deserves it. Because it's kind of a thing in life. If you keep going back to something which is not working for you and you're expecting it to actually work out well and expecting that result to happen, but it doesn't happen over and over again. What do you expect? You deserve what you get. So Kvyat should not go back. He should not go back. But if he does, then if he gets dropped over and over again, then we can't say he wasn't warned. We can't say that. JV Nib was claiming that Kvyat has signed. It wouldn't be a surprise if he has signed, but I still disagree with that. If he has signed, I disagree with him signing back. Aaron Chin, I don't think Kvyat psychologically is ready to be a part of Red Bull again. I think if Kvyat wants to come back to F1, he should be trying to get back in the Sauber, not the Toro Rosso. He shouldn't, because the Red Bull program, even though it gave him a chance in F1, at the end of the day, it ruined his career. So I don't think he should go back to the Red Bull program. Legendary Snipers, hopefully we can get rid of the Miami for the 2020 season. It should never happen. Yeah, I agree. I don't like that track. I think it's a very bland track. I think the people who designed that track have no imagination in their entire body at all. So yeah, Miami should not be on the calendar. Right, guys, I'm going to read out probably a couple more comments and then I'm going to come off. Magnussen seems to be dropping off recently. That's from Aaron Chin. He's not doing as well as Grosjean, that's for sure. He's not doing as well as Grosjean. But I think Singapore is not the greatest track for Haas, so maybe that is what is playing a factor in that. Kvyat may have matured in his absence, but going to Toro Rosso would be tail tucking, not good. That's some Tonka Toy Truck. I don't see why you should be going back. It's almost like a relationship. If someone in a relationship, the other half is treating you like crap, and you keep going back expecting it to be, wonderful, and it keeps happening over and over again, then eventually you're deserving of the treatment you're getting because you will not learn your lesson. That's exactly what's going on with Kvyat and Toro Rosso and the Red Bull program. They're treating him like crap, and he keeps going back expecting it to be better and expecting it to be improved, and it's not. So he deserves what he's going to get if he does go back to Toro Rosso. Right, the final comment or question will be from JB. Spend a year in Toro Rosso, and then he should ditch him and go somewhere else for 2020. That's for Kvyat. If he has the opportunity to do so, then yeah, he should, but I don't think there's that many options available for Danny Kvyat. But guys, thank you for coming along for this 2018 Singapore Grand Prix watch along. It has been great as always. Again, sorry for being half an hour late when starting. Hopefully those issues will not arise for tomorrow for the race watch along. By the way, the upcoming videos are, first off, qualifying review between 9 PM and 11 PM tonight. Don't forget to subscribe either on the bottom right of the screen, click on my channel name, or click on the link in the description that goes to my channel page. And also hit the notifications bell along with the subscribe button so you can be notified to when my qualifying review is uploaded. And guys, tomorrow the race watch along will be starting at 12 UK time because the race is starting at 1 UK time. So come here at 12 UK time and I will be live for the race watch along for about 2.5 to 3 hours, probably 3 hours because Singapore normally is a 2-hour race. And then at 4:30 we will be doing a race reaction for Singapore Grand Prix. That is tomorrow's content. So hopefully you guys can join me for that as well. Don't forget to like this video, comment down below what you thought of qualifying for the 2018 Singapore Grand Prix. As well, join our Discord server. A link below is in the description to join that server. We have over 65 people now, so hopefully you can join this wonderful community. And as well, follow me on Twitter for more updates with my channel. And don't forget to check out my website to keep up to date with what I'm doing on the channel as well. But guys, until tomorrow, for the 2018 Singapore Grand Prix. I will see all of you then.